Welcome back. You can see under the camera that I've already begun to add color to my final, and I'm working on the clouds right now. I started with some very light colors laid in, and now I'm going back on top with some darker colors, especially coming off these curved tops and bottoms if you have them. Dark to light, dark to light, dark to light. It's that shift of value, dark to light, that makes it look as if these are round and puffy. Because a cloud has many different curves on it, you have to come in from many different directions. For example, here I'm coming straight down, but now I'm going to turn the paper and come in at a bit of an angle, still aiming kind of towards the middle of the cloud. Here I'm coming in again, so I'm really wrapping the shadows around the clouds and little by little darkening as I go. The darker I go, the darker I am to the lighter, the more range of value, and thus the more three-dimensional that looks. Let's get over here and work on this one. You can certainly blend lots of colors together. I have. There's no rule that says you can't use many colors when you blend. And so that's what I'm doing. Notice that I flipped the paper upside down just now because I wanted to get into this hard to reach area right here. And if I need to smooth something out, I will. Just go back over it lightly with thin and even color, and that usually is enough to smooth it out. So there aren't really that many tricks. It's just knowing what to do and when to do it. The tricks that you do use are used over and over again. Now, here on this cup that holds this ice cream, the ice cream has syrup on top. I don't know what flavor may be meant. And the cup itself is basically white. So even white things have shadow on them. I'm going to go ahead here with a little bit of blue coming in off the edges. Maybe go ahead and adjust that with a little bit of brown or red. A little mixture I like. Maybe down here. So you see predominantly white for this cup, but there is shading on the edge. What did I say about this chocolate syrup? Well, let's go ahead and lay that down. Now that's not really a chocolatey color, but we're getting there. It's warm and it's going to be dark, even though it's more of a red than it is a chocolate. Now, red, if you mix it with its complement green, will give you a brown. So let's see if I can find a decent green. Here's a fairly bright green, a yellow green. Let's find out what happens when I mix that green with that red. Right now it's looking more like a tan and more like a green, but if I continue to play with the balance of colors, a little red, a little green, little red, a little green, pretty soon you'll begin to see under the camera the fact that I'm getting more of a brown going on there. Now, do I like that brown? Not really sure. I might actually want to go honey for a brown, just a regular brown pencil in my tray, but I thought I would go ahead and give it a try blending that brown right here. It could also be that I used the wrong green. Maybe instead of a yellow green, I could have just used a straight dark green, and we might try that a little bit also. Here comes a straight dark green, and let's see what that does. Again, there's no rules to blending. You just have to blend and let it become an experiment that you enjoy. Let's see if I can find a normal brown, and here one is. Let's just add that to the top. That will imitate our chocolate syrup, and then we'll be done with that. Now, the ice cream down here is a round scoop, so guess what I'm going to do? Dark to light coming in from the edges, dark on the outside edges, lighter to the inside, maybe a little bit of darkness under the very thick under the very thick syrup, okay? Right there. And it could be that, again, I want to deepen that color a little bit. I'm going to add a little shadow, throw a little red in there. Okay, now the cherry looks like it's going to need a little bit of intensity too. So I'm going to go ahead and start pushing a little harder, I'm going to drop the shadow underneath the cherry here. Dark to light, dark to light, dark to light, dark to light. Because the cherry is round, I have to come in from lots of different angles on that. And it might be kind of fun if I were to add a little bit of yellow to that. The yellow and the red are going to make an orange, but where the white reflection is, I might add a little bit of yellow to see if I can make a bit of an orange cast. Now, on this building right here, I think the clouds are done. Shaded, 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 shaded. The cup is done, the ice cream is done, the cherry's done. This building over here is done. Notice one side light, one side dark. If you're going to shade a building, what you have to do is take a color, decide where it goes, and lay it down lightly. So I'm going to lay this color down lightly. I'll probably use other colors along with it. You notice I did outline a lot of my drawing, not every portion, but a lot of my drawing with marker. You do not have to do that. Over here on the left side, I'm going to make it darker. In this case, I'm just going to take a darker green. That's not the only way you have of darkening a side. You could have taken any darker color at all, or even just the same lighter green, pressing harder to get the darker value. But here I'm going to go in with that darker color. I don't even think I'm going to make that stripe any different, just right there. So here we have light on one side, dark on the other, and it could be I might want to do a little bit of blending in this distance here, just because I want to, just because I like to be experimental with my color blends. There's a little red coming in. I'm going to drop a little shadow on the inside of that doorway right there, and maybe, because it's too intense, go in there with a brown, and let's knock that intensity down, and maybe more brown there, okay? So I'm playing with lights and darks to see if I can get a more 3D appearance. Now you can see my pickle right here. It has the bumps that a pickle has, but it doesn't have any sense of overall shading. Now I could go in there if I wanted to, maybe not with a thick marker, but a thin one, and here's a thin one right here. And I could do a little outlining or reinforcing. Again, I kind of like doing that. You don't have to. And you don't have to do it entirely over the whole of a thing. You can do it partially. So I'm kind of breaking up my lines, adding a little more texture right there. And now I'm going to color right over that, cap my marker so it doesn't dry out. I'm going to pretend like the left side is the dark side, just like the left side and the left side here are dark. And let's come in off that darker left side, dark to light, dark to light, dark to light, dark to light. Now remember, the pickle is kind of a rounded or curved surface. So again, I'm pushing in from different directions, maybe a little bit of shadow there and some grooves as the cucumber grew. Pickles are made from cucumbers. And here's a red that I'm going to use to kind of neutralize that green, give it more of a shadowy appearance over there. Okay, so you can see the pickle is one side light, one side dark. Could be if I thought that I wanted to intensify the color, I might throw a little more brighter green in there in that shadowy area, just because I want to see a bit more of a pop of a color there, even though that's in shadow. And so it goes. This pyramid right here is already shadowed on one side. Now it doesn't happen to be the left side, it happens to be the right side. And it could be this shadowy side over here only requires a lighter color or a lighter value on this side. Now notice that orange is very similar to some of these oranges, and I don't think I like that. I want a little more contrast, so let me get in here. There's just nothing that I can't do here as far as mixing colors and shading, so I'm going to mix a little bit of that red, maybe a little bit more of this blue, and I'm going to really punch this edge right down right here. Very, very dark. Okay, almost merges right there, but that's okay, that's fine. And here on this cone, remembering that it is a cone, and I can turn the paper or turn my hand to get in there where I need it to be. Let's go ahead and take that color right up there into that foamy area. Let's go light to dark on this, maybe lighter on one side, darker on the other. Here's a blue with its complement orange to get kind of a gray appearance. Let me see what I can do with maybe this yellow. Yellow is going to go on top of the blue in the middle to create some green effects. That's kind of cool. Still not very happy with the darker values on the side, so let's see. Got that going on. Let's go ahead and make this left side a little bit darker than the right side. So I'm going to concentrate my effort here on the left side. Darker, 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 little by little. Notice how I turn the paper to get the colors in where I want. Still darker, still darker. If I do it a little bit at a time, I can catch it just exactly when I want to and say, hey, that's great. That's exactly what I was looking for. If you go too fast, you're likely to overshoot, overcorrect, do the wrong thing. Okay, so here I'm doing a little bit extra there on those clouds. Let me throw a little bit more yellow in here, maybe right there, maybe right there, just to brighten things up. And so you have it. Still didn't finish this little portion of the planet down here. Let me go ahead with the blue ocean. Alter that blue a little bit so it distinguishes itself. Go in here with a little brown. This is meant to show you the curve of the earth with one of the continents on it, right there, and maybe just a little sense of atmosphere right there rising up off the earth. and I am done. I have my 4 buildings, I have my details, I have my clouds. This is my futuristic city, not so very different from this one right here, the one you've already seen. Now, you try.